stabilize with your forearms. Now, one thing I can tell you is, and I've done this a number of times, one thing I can tell you is it's important for the person who's spine-boarding and stabilizing the head and neck, he's dead, to make sure that you are comfortable and are in a comfortable position where you can stay for about 20 to 40 minutes. If you've never been in a situation where you've had to spine board somebody, by the time EMS gets there, by the time you're able to actually get the person on the spine board and leave, and if you've ever sat on the floor, and not necessarily a comfortable floor, whether it's on the grass, whether it's on the hardwood floor, if it's indoors on the mats, whatever it may happen to be, you need to make sure that you can find a comfortable position. So it may be something, that's always what happens, is as soon as a person gets in that position, they quickly realize they're uncomfortable and they move. Now, the most important thing is to stabilize the head and neck and make sure you maintain that stabilization. The other position is you can put your hands underneath the occiput of the skull, like she's doing. And the idea with this is that you stabilize on both sides and you also apply a little bit of inline traction. So a little bit of inline traction. And what that means is, just like you would with with the traction device, you just run a little bit of traction. Not a real forceful distraction, but just a little bit to relieve some of the pressure stress. So, first thing is, person comes over, stabilize the head and neck, and find a comfortable position. Now that person, again, should be the person with the most experience and or most qualified or the first person on the scene. So if you have an unresponsive person, the first thing you should do is stabilize the head and neck. Then the next thing is the other individuals who will take direction from the person who's stabilizing the head and neck, because she's responsible for the head and neck. But the other people are responsible for moving the rest of the body and being sensitive to where the head and neck is. So if she's stabilizing the head and neck and then somebody moves the torso real fast, it's not her fault. She doesn't move as quickly. They all are responsible for the head and neck, even though they may not necessarily be stabilizing the head and neck. Does that make sense? So everyone's got to work together. So the next person would be at the shoulders, the next person would be at the hips and or feet, and then the last person typically is the one who's going to use the spine board. Now, since the spine board's over here, where should the people be that are going to move this person? On the other side. Now, Amanda's careful because she's probably seen me discuss this before, someone has told her this before, is you never want to step over a victim. You don't want to do this. Obviously, you're not going to step over, I don't hit you. If I do, I apologize. You're obviously not going to do this, right? That would not make sense, because if I kick his head, that would be bad. It's no better to step across their feet. I have seen people trip over a victim lying down. Now, not in situations where it's a head injury, a person may be down, they have a hand or a shoulder injury, they're lying down, the person goes to get around the other side, they trip over them. Or they trip over somebody else. Again, not a good situation. So, stabilizing the head and neck, people are on the correct side, we've got the spine board in place. The spine board has to be set up so that when it's put underneath the person, the straps are going to line up properly. Because if the straps get caught underneath, that creates a difficult situation. Just as quickly as she should stabilize the head and neck, they should stabilize the rest of the body. Arms should be crossed. If you need to, you can wrap them with, I wouldn't necessarily use an adhesive tape. If you have like a, not Powerflex, used to be called Coban was the brand that we used, or an ace-wrap or a triangle bandage to hold the arms together. Same thing with the feet. So you don't want the person looking like they just fell out of a building. So we've got to take the arms and cross them over the front, and then take the feet and straighten the feet out and bring the feet close together. And obviously, again, everyone needs to be mindful. Same thing with the person with the spine board. Now, the correct hand position, what are they going to do? How are they going to move this person? What technique are we going to use? What techniques do we have available? Okay, the log roll. Okay, so we're going to use the log roll. Now, the proper position One hand here, his hand's going to go on the hip, her hand is going to go, right, cross over, and then on the legs. If you had another person that could help control the legs again, is that easy? Okay, that's all right. I wasn't sure what that was. So, now we're going to position the spine board. Now, the proper position for the spine board, when they move, and they're going to move on 3, so it's going to be on her count. She's going to say on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this is a very SpongeBob and Patrick type of a thing. Is it on 3? Is it 3 then go? Those are things you want to sort out, right? You don't want to go, all right, on 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you go, because that's not what you said. If it's on 3, you go on 3. You don't want to do on 3, 3. You don't want to do that either. Again, these are very SpongeBob type things, but you want to make sure that you work them out ahead of time. Okay? So, is it on 3? Did you decide? I have no idea. Whatever. As long as you, that's enough. If you guys come up with something that works, so then the person at the head is going to do that, you're going to do it. Oh, I don't care. I don't know. So that's something you work out ahead of time. It's not necessarily the right answer, but if one person's doing one thing and the other people are doing something else, then that's wrong. That's the wrong answer. So if they're all going, say, on 1, right, or you say on putt, I don't know if you want to do something footballish, so on go, right, whatever you want to use. So you can use on roll. Yeah. There you go. It's not, I told you the wrong answer is if you don't do it together. The right answer is if you do it together. So guys, get in position. You guys, same thing as her, get in position and stay in that position.
Roll on roll. 1, 2, 3, roll.
Okay. And everyone's responsibility, everyone should be looking at the head and neck to make sure that they're all in line. The spine board is kind of wedged underneath, and kind of you got to hold it wedged underneath.
Down, down. 1, 2, 3, down.
Don't help. Don't move your feet. Don't help. Oh man, it didn't work. Take them off, do it again. So what do? Now he's kind of janked. What do you do? Okay, you're supposed to use the V technique where you go down and then back up. Okay, so then, and now I always recommend when you straddle somebody, alternate butt, face, butt, face. So, go ahead and straddle. It may sound silly. Go ahead and straddle. You're going to have to straddle them, right? So go ahead and straddle them. So you're going to step across them. Okay. Now you're going to straddle them also.
But I'm facing that.
No, I didn't say face the other way. You're going to control you move over for a second. Well, that's why he's going to have to bend down. So go ahead and bend down. And pick a side you want your butt to go. Bend at your knees. You're going to have no back. And pick a side. Okay, now your face is going to go on the other side where your butt is. So your face is going to go there, your butt's going to go there. That's why I said face, butt, face, butt. Otherwise, don't start moving your butt because you're messing her up. Because you can't now, then Jason, you can't face the other way. Because if you are, then your butt's a butt, which is better, but you can't see your face. I said butt 3 times. Alright? So you gotta pick a position. So get down, just bend your knees, okay? Now you're gonna get down, bend your knees. Alright. And now you're gonna go down and up in a V shape, V formation. And then Charlie, you're gonna have to hold the spine board.
And then we're gonna slide down towards Amanda and then up towards just slide. Down towards Amanda, and then I'm going to count again, and then we're going to slide up towards his right side. Okay? So we're going to slide down on slide. 1, 2, 3, slide.
Didn't move, right? Poor guy's like, look. This didn't give him a complex.
Alright, that's not. Okay.
Good?
Go.
Yeah.
Should we slide down again?
Yeah, slide more.
Straight down. Straight down.
Down and towards
2, 3, slide.
Hold that steady. You shouldn't have to do that because your shape wasn't in there. Hold it steady.
Down towards the center on the slide. 1, 2, 3, slide. He is so good.
Yeah. It's all checked. And then back up and towards the center. Let's finish it up.
Okay.
It's difficult.
Up and to the right on slide. Andrew, Jason. 2, 3,
No.
slide. His right. We're not.
Title this epic failure.
Alright, so what happened? He was too heavy for them? No, I don't know that that's true. Because that's the proper technique, that's one of the techniques and one of the ways you're supposed to do that. Now I've got a little fine for that.